The gentlelady yields back. The gentleman, Mr. Bell, is recognized for 5 minutes for questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Ranking Member, and our witnesses for being here today. And in Missouri, we are currently recovering from one of the largest natural disasters since 1959, which has left an impact statewide with extensive damage to my district in the St. Louis region. As we recover from these storms, the threat of waste, fraud, and abuse lingers above the lives of the thousands of individuals impacted. These same individuals who are already exhausted and depleted from the mental turmoil and physical loss are now faced with the threat of fraud. Studies have suggested that individuals recovering from natural disasters are at a higher risk of being susceptible to scams. Many of these scams come in the form of imposters who are impersonating government officials, bank workers, or even FEMA employees to acquire vulnerable information. These fraudsters preying on these vulnerable communities use the tactic of acquiring individuals' private information like social security numbers, bank account numbers, and addresses by posing as a resource to provide help, but subsequently using the information obtained for their own personal gain. Ms. Hu, do you agree that access to this personal information poses a significant threat to Americans' livelihoods, especially those in vulnerable communities?
Thank you, Congressman. I think that you are helping to elevate one of the critical issues about data privacy, and that is the way in which it can be exploited, particularly to those who are most vulnerable. And without comprehensive privacy laws or greater cybersecurity protections at the federal level, I fear that we're going to continue to face these types of issues.
And since we were talking about privacy, I'm going to go off my remarks for a second. I don't, to the previous questions, I don't really care what your positions are on abortion. What I care about is that a woman has a right to make a decision with her own body, that people have a right to make a decision with their own body and healthcare choices. So what we have seen with 23andMe is a breach of privacy that has left many communities vulnerable to fraudster attacks ranging from identity theft to risk from exposure of genetic data. I agree and recognize the need for comprehensive legislation that ensures transparency in the collection and use of personal data, along with stronger security measures and protections when it is handled by corporations. But I also know that the threat of fraud and abuse does not just lie in our corporations, but amongst our very own government. What we have been seeing over the last couple months is one of the largest fraudsters of them all, and his name is Elon Musk, who this committee refuses to bring to a hearing to question. Musk, who has scammed the American people with false promises of efficiency and elimination of waste, fraud, and abuse, has carried out the exact opposite. Musk and his Doge team, or whatever you want to call them, have ransacked multiple federal buildings under false pretenses, gathered sensitive and personal data, and vanished, leaving others to pick up the pieces and rebuild. Sounds pretty similar to the tactics of disaster frauders to me. It is our duty not only to hold corporations accountable, but also to hold anyone accountable who violates the privacy and safety of the American people. I will continue calling out and fighting back against fraudsters and protecting the individuals who need it most. Thank you, and I yield back to the ranking member.
Does the gentleman yield his time back?
To the ranking member, yes.
Thank you for that. I yield back.